Update injury-wise, really, there's only two. Russell Hansborough and James Franklin both had concussions in the game, and they are questionable for this game. Obviously, it's a area of caution. You know, it's a hot topic, certainly because of all of football, but certainly the NFL. And a lot of things, information's coming out, and so our medical staff does a great job with those things, and always have. And so we'll wait and see how that comes out and where it comes from. Texas A&M's having a great year. They're playing exceptionally well, and they're competing at a very, very high level. So you know, it's a different kind of week for us because we don't have class this week, and it's good for, I think, for our players. They can catch up a little bit, some academically, and some maybe advance a little bit academically, and they also has a little bit more time to prepare for this game. Obviously, we know how critical the game is, and we're going to get a great week of practice and go down and play our best. Well, it's changed considerably. I mean, they have criteria. Medical staffs and trainers have criteria in terms of symptoms, and I don't know a lot of the details, but of identifying and ranking concussions, and also as your road to recovery. The most important thing is to get them out as fast as you can when a concussion happens, and evaluate it, and then let them back only when certain criteria is met, and that's our medical staff always makes that decision. And it's good with all the studies coming out in the NFL. And I have a couple of friends that played in the NFL that have some struggles with that also. And so, I think it's a lot of this is good, and hopefully we're going to learn a lot, and as time goes on, and certainly with technology and helmets and so on and so forth, that we can reduce those kind of problems.
Gary, just your impressions of Johnny Manziel, and when the last time you might have seen a freshman do the kind of thing.
Yeah, he's a redshirt freshman. Yeah, he was in the program there already, my understanding. He's a very, very impressive player. I mean, I watched a bunch of games on him. He's athletic. He can throw the ball well. He's accurate. He can throw off balance. He's creative. You watch film. I mean, some of the stuff he does, you wonder how he pulls it off. But he does, and obviously he plays with a lot of confidence, and so seen a lot of good quarterbacks, but certainly for a young player, playing very, very well.
Do you see similarities in he and Brad Smith?
No, not really. Not so. Maybe more more Chase Daniel. If a young player playing at a high level, that's what I see a little bit more of. They're different. I'm not trying to compare them exactly. One thing that's been good for them, when Kevin came in there, what was intact, probably as good as anything, was their offensive line. They have a really good offensive line. They've been intact the entire season. That certainly is going to help him. Has helped him out a lot too. But he's very impressive. He's got receivers making plays. He's just got all in the spread offense. They got their version of the spread. They got a lot of things working well, and certainly he's playing well.
Did you have any occasion to talk with Kevin Sumlin as you guys are making this transition as two schools coming in at the same time? Did you ever?
I've run into Kevin over the years and know him as a colleague. Saw him at the SEC meetings and that type thing. And but no, we really hadn't. He was with Houston last year and really hadn't talked much about it.
Here with all the changes A&M had, new staff, new systems, new quarterback, is it not much you can draw from your past two wins there?
I really don't. Last year we asked about when we were going down a second time. This has got to be a world record, third time going down there. Asked about going down for a second time, and all teams are different. So, our players obviously have great respect for A&M, and it's a great place to play college football. We've seen a bunch of great places this year. And that being said, the reason we win those games is we played well and we made enough plays at the end to win them, and they're not easy games to win. Well, I just think they're healthy. They're playing well. The quarterback's playing well. They're just doing a good job. Most of those players are on the team. He has some freshmen that are playing, true freshmen, I think. But most of those players, he's done a great job of kind of circling the wagons and having those guys play at a real high level and with a new attitude and everything else. So I think those things that he's done, and it's. They were always close, and he's obviously got him playing very, very well. I don't discuss disciplinary issues. I don't do that. So he's back, and those are on any player, and so I just don't do that.
Can you discuss what you might expect out of him after he's been out a week?
That's the same things we expect of him before us in terms of, just responsibilities as a player here.
Gary, the last time you guys struggled as much as 04, do you see any, does it feel like that season did? Is this season frustrating in that way?
No, the 04 season was, and something, I really don't look back at it, that in terms of that. This season's been just frustrating, for me personally, just from the injury standpoint. And, it doesn't matter, we got to win anyway, and I'm responsible to win anyway. But, with the issues and problems we've had there, that's been the most frustrating for me, just because you don't have the same team. And, if you look at 2000, you go back in 2007, and if you, if we had the same injury, if we had the same problems, challenges on offense back then as we have now, I suggest we might win 7 or 8 games instead of 12. And so that's kind of what I feel. But that team, that 2005 was probably the best thing that ever happened to us because we had a lot of things going on within our program that needed to get fixed. And that was a whole different setup. We just weren't there yet. Everybody wasn't locked in. Everybody wasn't part of the team, and we really learned a lot there. So it was the dynamics were completely different.
Do you think you are in better shape now moving forward?
Oh, I feel fine about our program. I believe in what we do, and so always have. But it's really as far as it's nothing as far as infrastructure. It's nothing the same in terms of that, except the feeling of losing. So that's always the same.
I noticed that today's depth chart that Jack Miners and Travis Reed were both listed as out.
Yeah, they're not going to come back. If we get bowl eligible this weekend, it was they would not come back. They can't. They're just not. They're not ready. No. No, they're done.
Also, with practice that you start practicing tomorrow, another 24 hours, I guess, to make this decision. But are you going to be practicing with Corbin as the number one, or?
That will depend on the medical report tomorrow that I get. I'll have one tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and then whatever we get there, then we decide how we're going to practice.
Gary, Mizzou gets a lot of the headlines, obviously, but what have you seen out of A&M's linebacker defensive end, Demontre Moore? He's put up some pretty good stats this year.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive. His sacks and he's a really an active player. You got to know where he is all the time, and the problem is he can be about anywhere. So he's a great player, and and certainly an impact player on that defense.
The easy comparison is to Von Miller. Have you guys?
Yeah, you get one, another one comes in place. So that's pretty good from their standpoint. But really, he's very, very talented. He'll play on Sundays, obviously, but he's playing very, very, very high level.
Kendall's had a good year. Where do you see him playing next year? Do you see a future for him?
Oh, I don't know. He'll get an opportunity. There's no question about it. He's having an excellent year. It's starting. We've been talking about him every week, and even with all our challenges we have up front on offensive line, it's amazing. We almost got a 1,000-yard rusher, but he's got a great attitude. He's worked hard. He's very talented. He's a tough runner. I think one of the big differences, he's more of a vertical runner than he used to be. Maybe he got a little bit of that from Henry. He might not admit to that, but his friend. But he's more of a vertical runner. And there's a point where you don't go sideways and keep looking. You just go. And I think he's done a really good job with that.
Was he not always that kind of runner?
Yeah, he was a little bit more, trying to find space because he's a great cutback player. So but sometimes if you kind of go, at this level, you look for the cutback too much, and you're going to have 7 guys standing around you. And so there's a kind of a fine line of how you do that.
Coach, with Jimmy Hunt's success in the last couple of weeks, touchdown catches, what makes him so capable of making those plays?
Well, he's athletic. He's been looking better in practice. It's neat to see that, and see it carry over. He's got a great attitude, always has. But he's some, Bud Sasser's another one. Just played pretty well, and Doriel's getting in there, having some opportunities. So, Jimmy Hunt's a great kid, and he's got a great work ethic and great attitude, and he's very talented athletically. And we were just starting to see some of it. With James healthy the last couple of weeks, until this happened, where we're just throwing the football more, we're getting the ball downfield more, and especially last week. So it's just people ask why all of a sudden these guys showing up a little bit more. Well, the reason is they're showing up a little bit more is because we have a healthy quarterback, experienced quarterback.
Talked a little bit about Manziel, but, you know, I mean, defending him, what do you have to do with the main points there to keep him?
Well, I think you're not going to stop him. Obviously, you got to just you're going to contain him the best you can. You know, you try to always eliminate big plays, but he's an impressive player. I mean, he really is. He's all over that field. He'll do whatever he has to do. It seems like a great competitor, very competitive the way he plays. But you just try to contain him the best you can. I think it's the most important thing. And they're a very productive offensive football team. And they run their version and they run it good, and they're very impressive against everybody they played.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, David Yost noted that A&M's offense, their style kind of proves that can work in this league.
Yeah, if you watch the whole thing, I mean, I've watched 3 games, and there might be some that I'm missing a little bit, but there's they play a tight end a little bit in the goal line sometimes, reluctantly. It looks like almost. It's a little bit of Mike Leach background, Texas Tech background, Mike's version thereof, and yeah, that's what they play. That's what they play it, and so you generally see the spread with the 2 guards, 2 tackles, quarterback, and they have a back in the backfield, a little bit, but they do empty a little bit, but. Obviously, they're doing pretty good with it, executing at a high level.
Are there any specific aspects of that spread tech that you admire or can appreciate?
Well, I think all our spreads are very similar. There's a lot of similarity to what we all do. Okay, but they're executing very well. They're blocking well, throwing, catching. They're doing everything. They have a lot of continuity, and their quarterback's playing at a very high level. And in our offenses you run spread offenses, your quarterback has to play at a high level. That's just given. It's a given, or you shouldn't be in the spread. So they've been very fortunate and playing very, very well.
Can you even imagine, Garrett, you had a fully healthy team, maybe like 07 this year, where you would be right now?
I really don't look at that. I just I think anytime you struggle with some of the issues that we've had, you just feel bad for your players because it's difficult. But it doesn't matter. We still find ways to win games, and we should have won more games, and I'm responsible for that.
Gary, as far as the offensive line with all the knee injuries, is it something that at the end of the season you go back and look at your process of how guys trained or anything?
We've done the same thing, been doing for years. We always look at those things, but we do the same things. We think about 5 years in a row without losing one offensive lineman. So just things happen, that's life. I've thought about that once or twice, but it doesn't. It's a waste. It doesn't help our cause. But certainly we always go back and evaluate everything, to make sure. We had a lot of labrum tear shoulders, and we went back and looked at everything, all the things we're doing as far as training. We called other conferences and had to get their stats about what schools were having labrum tears and what were the cause of them, and so on and so forth. So to get any information, we can't help ourselves. So we always do those kind of things. But we're pretty heads up on things around here and proactive in terms of trying to stay cutting edge. And certainly Pat Ivey, who's our director of player development, he's as good as there is in the country, and he's always at the cutting edge. He's always out there evaluating to make sure that we're doing the right things.
From a player perspective, Saturday's game, is that sort of an equal but opposite effect of the confidence booster that Tennessee was, or is it more of a downer than
We've had six games have been decided 7 points or less, and almost all of them have gone down to a couple of series at the end of the game. We lost at Florida by 7, Vanderbilt by 4, and this last week by 4. Okay, and all of them have gone down. We won 3 games: won the Central Florida game, the Tennessee game, and the Arizona State game. I think there were 4, 4, and 3. And you know what? When you get in close games like that, you got to do the things necessary to win, and you can't make mistakes. You got to make plays. The ideal thing is not put yourself in that position. That's the. There's many ways that can happen, although it's difficult at times. And they're very emotional games. If you win them, they're emotionally high, and if you lose them, they're very, very emotionally low. And so, but as competitors, you get back up, brush yourself off, and you get going. And that's what we'll do.
Can having that many emotional games in one season kind of take its toll?
Well, it's up and down. We haven't won 2 games in a row this year. I mean, that's I don't remember the last time that happened. It's been quite a while. So that's been difficult. But I think it tests also the resiliency of our players. I mean, they're battling. But you not only got to make plays, but you got to also what we call critical errors. You got to reduce the number of mistakes that you make. So you can make a lot of plays, but if you make a lot of mistakes, they kind of go against one another. And it's amazing, you're 20 seconds away from winning a game, and when you win it, everything's so much better, and when you lose it, everything's so much worse. So my job is to make sure to get the truth out of it, and that's the most important thing that I do, and get that to my players.
Gary, Marcus Murphy didn't get any carries against Syracuse. Is he a little banged up? Is he going to be okay?
Yeah, he had a foot injury, and last week he was limping around, and he got ready enough to be in our return game. So that's what we decided to use him for. We decided not to use him as a running back, and when Russell went down, we decided we would use him if we needed him. But we just thought that was the right way to get him back so he'd stay healthy.
You guys feel confident that he'll be
Yeah, he'll be back this week. Yeah, he's good. All set? Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.